AK, the designer from Ocular Max. He probably has designed a lot more stuff than just that, but he's most well known if you've collected any of the Ocular Max cassette line or any of the real mainline Ocular Max stuff, like what we see here, the Fraudo, the Impetus, and the entire all-in-one Bruticus team. He's kind of one of the engineers, well, the designers behind that. So welcome, AK. Do you want to go by AK, or what should we call you today?
Just call me Alex. That's fine.
All right. So Alex is going to be here. I'm going to be doing a quick review, just showing you guys the different modes. We'll probably go from this to maybe, I guess, combined mode, and then go into robot mode. And during that, I want you guys to be able to just comment in the comment section. Alex should be able to see that. Alex, can you see the comment section on the right side?
I think so, yep.
Yeah, so go ahead and ask questions away, and Alex will be able to answer whichever ones you have, at least the ones that won't get either of us in trouble, okay? So with that, I'll start the review, and you guys should just start talking to Alex. And Alex, if you have any things that you want to share while I'm talking about the going through the alt mode, go ahead and feel free to talk to that as well.
Yeah. But firstly, I should just let everyone know that although I initially did the first model of this, the transformation model, a couple of other designers, one mainly Makoto, I think actually made a few modifications and improvements on the transformation. So I can't take full credit for the transformation on this particular one. I would say this one and possibly Brawl, he did some modifications, especially to the feet area. So it's even new for me to actually go through this transformation to see what he's added, because I actually haven't had a chance to hold one of these and play with one myself.
Yeah, Alex, so I know we were talking before, but you said that, how old was this design, or how long ago did you like kind of complete your portion?
2.5 years ago, I designed this.
2.5 years, oh my gosh.
And
so you needed a refresher on this as well then.
What's that?
You needed a refresher on this as well.
Yeah. So, and like I was saying to you earlier, I did about 12 versions of the transformation. This one was probably the hardest one of the whole lot. One of the biggest problems was getting just enough volume for the combined mode. It was just too thin from the side. But I think Makoto made a few cool little adjustments to help thicken that as well.
And I know I don't have all the parts, because I know there's supposed to be a little stand or like a post here that allows you to kind of make this into a turret and stuff like that. So guys, this is obviously a preview. I don't have all the parts, but these are the weapons I guess he comes with, and we're missing a couple of accessories. So just keep that in mind. There's still more to be revealed about this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and get in transformation. You guys go ahead and answer questions. I think BB03 had a question that I posted on the screen.
Is the transformation the same as revealed in the update video? Which was the update video? Was that?
I think are you talking about the render maybe?
Yeah, the 3D. Yeah, it should be the same. Yeah, because in those videos you notice that Brawl and Blastoff were darkened out for quite a while because the transformations weren't final. But Vortex, Swindle, and Onslaught transformations are all done, completed quite a while ago.
All right. Oh yeah, he said the render vid. He did clarify his question. So yeah, as far as like, I don't know what you can share, but what was your background? I mean, how do you even get into like becoming a Transformers designer?
Yeah, so, well, as a kid, I loved Transformers. I was obsessed with Transformers. Could never really afford to have many, and the few that I had, when they would break, I'd take them apart and repair them. And so I used to tinker with them a little bit and modify them and stuff like that. And then in high school, I got really into stop motion animation and building armatured figures and doing little short animations for school. And that just led to just more and more interest in robotic articulation, and combined with just still collecting Transformers in high school, going to flea markets. This is back in the 90s when no one even really collected Transformers. They weren't seen as a collectible back, believe it or not, in the early 90s. You could pick them up at flea markets for 50 cents, and just got back into them. And then when I was about 19, 20, I just thought I really want to explore transformation as an art form, and started sketching and building, because I didn't know how to use, I didn't do any 3D modeling back then. Just building prototypes, started building prototypes, again, doing little stop motion animations with them. And then just took some prototypes to Japan when I was 22, not even speaking a word of Japanese, and then just door knocked to try to get work, not just with Takara, but Bandai and any other toy company that were doing a lot. They were doing a lot of Transformer toys in the late 90s in different toy companies.
Oh, that's awesome. So you actually have some formal first-party experience. I'm sure a lot of fans weren't aware of that.
Yeah, I door knocked for years, actually. I lived in Tokyo, learned the language, continued sketching, working, door knocking, and getting to know some of the toy companies a bit. But it was another 4 years before I finally got my foot in the door at Takara. Just happened to be good timing, because they were looking for new people, new ideas, and also about to start working on the movies. They wanted to get new staff in, and
so that was kind of the renaissance of Transformers. So that's when they were looking at more staff.
Yeah, and Transformers Animated, they really wanted me on that because they wanted something more organic, a new style. And back then, before it was called Transformers Animated, they called it the Transformers Hero series. The project was called Hero, and developed a few prototypes with them. And yeah, I think I was more into diagonal shapes. Like, their engineers are great, but they were always thinking in very block form. But I was saying, well, what if we give it more of a diagonal kind of stance? You've noticed it more in the toy classic Mirage. He has a kind of a swagger to his stand. He doesn't stand straight. He kind of, his pelvis moves, is leaned forward and his shoulders back. So I sort of changed the stance a bit on what they were doing, if that makes sense. A lot of toys after that have more of a lean in the shoulders and a bit more attitude in the stance, if that makes sense. They used to call it the Kowalski S, which is my family name. Sort of an S shape through the form.
All right, so just to answer the quick question we have here, I actually do have my scale here. So here he is in combined leg form, which is a very, very cool, very cool looking all-in-one transformation. If you guys saw, they have a lot of cool hidden stuff like this sliding joint here. You can see the ankles that can tilt, even though they're two halves of a single point. He actually has toe articulation. He still has forward heel or ankle tilt and so forth. So very, very cool and they even have some thoughtful locking mechanisms in this little heel piece. So this is part of the heel piece, but you can see there's a little tab there. What it's designed for, at least from what I was told, and Alex can probably explain this way better than me, is you can slide that in, and that will keep the heel from like moving, these heel pieces moving around. Is that correct, Alex?
Yes, that's correct. Is there a similar? Oh yeah, somebody asked, is it heavier than Vortex?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. Give me 1 second. That's 222 grams for Swindle or Fraudo, and 236 for Impetus with his blades on and everything. So about the same weight, it seems like. So you were saying that these locking mechanisms, it seems like I said, whenever I mess with these, it seems like there's always some really clever tabs or locking mechanisms that make everything feel way more solid. And I keep discovering them all the time, but this is obviously thoughtful engineering on your team's part, right?
Yeah, well, I missed you as I was rambling there. Sorry about that, guys, too. I missed, where your thumb is there, there's a little square in front no, sorry, in the front, the shin section.
Yeah.
Do those things tab? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a little trick I came up with to keep the slide. Yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't. And are they using the same in the underneath of the ankle? Because like I said, this foot actually got modified. Makoto did an awesome job and actually improved the foot. You said there was
they have a
something.
little heel piece here, this gray piece. So this actually is on a slider so that it tabs in this way so that it doesn't move around anymore. But if you want more heel articulation to be able to go down like that, you can do that as well. But I guess this is just for added stability if you wanted a straight bottom of the foot.
Yeah. So this is interesting for me, because that little ankle stuff that was added in. I can say that the flipping round of the side mudguard to add volume that was added in by Makoto. Yeah, great solution.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this looks fine. I don't think anybody would complain, but just the fact that they went through and just tried to make it a little bit more, I guess, cankle-ish. Yeah. That's kind of what the animation has, as like a cankle.
Yeah. And I should say that I designed my part of the design before Vortex, and this is where I came up with that, with the ankle tilt. You see the grandfather of the later Vortex wrist tilt. So this came first, the 2-part tilt, born out of necessity.
Yeah, so TM Reviews, again, one of my favorite collaborators. We do a live stream all the time. We have one coming up on Wednesday. Just a little plug for that on his channel. He asked how high is the leg mode measurement. So just this portion is about 7 inches tall.
Right.
All right. Also, one of our other collaborators, TM and T-Man, says, I love Australian accents. So there you go. He says, let him do the talking, Bake.
I think I've been blabbing too much. You guys got to stop me. I'm trying to look if there's any other questions. I haven't done anything like this before, so it's weird to...
Well, you are always welcome to do more and more. Like I said, as one of my favorite designers, I would love to have you on as much as you're wanting to come on.
Right, yeah, no, it's
so fun. Is there any other interesting things that you might want to talk about as far as leg mode? Like, I mean, was this your first combiner that we know of that you worked on, and what are the kind of like the considerations that you kind of mindfully made to make sure that it's not a failed combiner? Because we've seen so many failed combiners before, right?
Yeah, I don't know, and I've never, like, I actually don't collect a lot of MP stuff. I don't collect toys.
Boo.
Much at the moment, as I was mentioning to you earlier. I'm moving around a lot, and I just don't have the place for them. So I've never seen anyone else's combiner, even MMC's. What were they? What's the big one they did?
They did the Predaking.
Yeah, Predaking. I mean, that looks amazing. I've only seen photos.
So, yeah, I mean that looks great, but then it definitely suffers from a lot of the joints not being able to support the weight and stuff like that. I mean, for you, I guess one of my questions is, when you design this, do you design it with the combined mode in mind first, and then design the rest around it, or did you design the individual robots first and then kind of work towards the combined mode?
Oh, it's hard to say. My mind's in 3 places at once on these. It really is back and forth. Like, I would come up with a basic vehicle mode. I think yeah, vehicle mode first, and then robot, then combiner.
Really? Oh man, I would think that like combining would just be something that's so almost like scary that you would want to tackle that first.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think in the end you want to get just the character looking right. Really, I think the fans want him to look like Swindle in the robot more than anything. And then those other, you can fudge a lot of stuff, like, swing around panels to block it up, because especially with this one, it's just a block. The loop just blocks. So in a way that it should be easier, in a way, blocks. But Vortex, So we had the helicopter, and we didn't want to change from the actual. I actually used a blueprint of the helicopter. Didn't want to change the proportions because you don't want to
right. Okay.
a helicopter. You want it to look like a real. That was part of the thing too. We wanted to look like real vehicles. And the space shuttle, blast off, and Vortex, we kept true to the blueprints as much as we could. So those ones would have gone vehicle first. But Swindle, it's open to interpretation as to what a Jeep looks like.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true, right? I mean, a lot the MP line for me, especially early on, with when the Carbots came out, that second line post MP10, I've always loved that because they were very true to the alt modes, right? Like they licensed actual cars and models to make sure that it was super accurate. And I feel like they're getting away from that to a degree now, to get a little bit closer to the animation model. But I mean, I know you just said you don't really collect the MP line, but do you prefer to have ultra realistic alt modes, or do you prefer kind of giving some artistic liberty to, I guess, make things look better? Because you also helped design, or you were one of the designers behind the Ocular Max Springer, right?
Springer, yeah.
Yeah. So clearly that alt mode is not, supposed to be accurate to the animation model. So you guys made a mindful, or you made a mindful choice to abandon that because it looked awful.
That was me, yeah, exactly. I said those exact words. I said, like, the vehicle, the car mode just looks crap. So I just wanted to beef it up in the back,
Yeah, and that was just a weird design. Like even an alien car, you wouldn't think would want something hit the rear wheels like all narrow compared to the front wheels, right?
That's a good example of guessing. You're just guessing that the fans will not complain if the vehicle's crap in the initial G1 design. So
yeah, well that's kind of a risky bet though with G1 fans. G1 fans are pretty rabid.
They're can be a fussy bunch, but but I'd say overall, especially going forward, we want to get the robots to look the best, like as close. But then even that, you're taking liberties. Like, I'm working on some now I can't mention, but some of them just have some ridiculous shapes to them, and you have to make them look cooler. I mean,
yeah. Like some of them just look like if you wanted a G1 toy accurate like Ironhide, like it'd be the worst toy ever, right? So you definitely wouldn't want that.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you say this is like this is one I guess you worked hardest on, but is this your favorite of the bots so far in the
and so just the history of it, when MMC asked me to start on Combaticons, they weren't thinking about an all built-in system. That was me saying, you know what, I hate because as I mentioned to you earlier before the live stream, as collecting these toys as a kid, I hated that if you lost the foot plate or the hand, you couldn't combine it anymore. It looked silly. So I wanted to actually have it all combined to make up for my own frustration as a kid collecting stuff. And they were hesitant at first. I think they said, "Can you really do it?" And I said, "Yeah, I can do it." I kind of bragged, "Yeah, I can transform anything," and lived to regret that at some point. As everyone can see, we couldn't get the big silver foot plates integrated into the combined mode. There just wasn't any space. There was I did do a few versions where there was some grey foot plate, but they were just too small in the end. So we just canned that idea and went with the G1 style thing where it's just big yellow block feet. And I think it looks great as it is.
Oh yeah.
And at some point, somebody will probably come out with a silver foot plate if you want to add.
All right, sorry, I was doing some transformations, so I'm just getting caught on some questions and comments.
Yeah. Oh, somebody asked who's your favorite Combaticon? Is that to? I don't know if that's to me or.
I think to you. They don't care about me.
I always loved Swindle in the show because he was like the mischievous little kid character. But in actually, I have to say, and I wanted to say, but my favorite in the line transformation, the one I'm most proud of, would be Impetus Vortex. But looking at this Swindle, it looks amazing. So I think Swindle's my new favorite.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like. I was very impressed with Impetus and Vortex that was the first one I got the preview, and I looked at it and I was like, this is amazing. Like the engineering with the hands and everything like that, but just the overall, like, again, accuracy of both the alt mode and robot mode was really impressive to me. And I was like, oh, this is my favorite. And then this guy came along and I'm like, oh, no, this guy's my favorite. So I'm hoping that down the line, that's going to keep continuing. And I'm going to just say every single new release from you guys is going to be my new favorite.
Thanks. I hope to keep you satisfied. I realize now in one of my versions, I hid the wheels on the legs.
Oh, you did? Oh, interesting.
But it doesn't detract that they're back there on the side. But probably for volume space reasons.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I saw in this design. I didn't really understand what this would be used for. You can flip in just the side parts of this hood, but you obviously need it out for both leg and combined mode. So I guess you might want to fold it in for this, but I think this is actually better to have out since it fills some of the gap here. So I'm wondering, was there a reason this is supposed to fold?
Yeah, like I said, I tried to find my initial model. I don't recall what that is.
All right, we're just gonna blame Makoto for that.
Yeah. No, he added, out of all of the ones, he added a lot of his own transformation to this, and for better results, I'd have to say there's a real combined effort, this particular character. Like Vortex was just dead on my transformation. They didn't change a thing, but this made some cool little changes, which I still got to work out because I can't even remember after those 12 versions, which was my parts.
So somebody also asked me what my favorite of the set is. Like I kind of talked about, it's changed. So I really like Impetus. I like this guy. As far as a character, I think Swindle was the only one that I remember having a real personality. And I like the fact that he is grimy, not just to Autobots, but also to other Decepticons. So that's why I always liked them. He was an equal opportunity. Grimy guy, friends and foes alike.
Yeah, there was an episode where he cut the other Combaticons up and sold them for parts.
Yeah.
He's just a complete misfit. Yeah, it's cool. And I love the colors of and they got the color dead on, that mustardy yellow.
Yeah, and the purple chest.
Yeah.
So TM wants me to bring in another figure from MMC to compare. My both Vortex and Onslaught are currently like in random modes right now because I was talking with Alex beforehand about different aspects. So neither of them are actually in any kind of mode to be shown off. But I'll actually show him off next to at least MP10. MP44, sorry, MP44. So you can kind of get a height comparison. I don't know if that helps. I also have MP10 if that helps, actually. Here, let me grab MP10 while Alex answers some more questions.
I just realized, that MP44, they got the proportions so much better than. Is that MP1 there? Or what's that?
This is MP10.
Yeah, 10. Well, they really nailed the proportions better on that. But I was about to say the total proportions are just spot on. I'm not blowing my own trumpet here because I think Makoto might have adjusted. He's really good. Makoto's taken some of my things and adjusted the proportions, and he always gets it just right. That's not always my strong point. Sometimes, like, I think Springer was a little too skinny. I was going more off the Ocular Max drawings. He bulked it up a lot and it looks a lot better. So It's so key to a good figure having the proportions right.
And I mentioned this. Well, I guess my review hasn't come out yet, but I mentioned in just talking about MP44. I know this is not an MP44 stream, but I think the things that they got really good is just the subtle lines. Like this is not a pure rectangle, right? It has a slight angle here that comes in. This wrist isn't just straight. It allows you to get just a little bit of tilt that gives that a little bit more of a dynamic feel to it all. Like, see the arms here, arm rectangles. And I think that's what makes this guy kind of, once you add up all the little subtleties of it, is what makes this guy just kind of pop. It's like a greater total than the sum of its parts kind of thing.
Yeah, they did the legs. They've got that sort of bend. The knee almost bends backwards, almost like a girl walk type.
Yeah, the hip, the traditional anime robot hip thrust thing, right? So like,
and that's like I was saying earlier. That's what I wanted to introduce, and I did to some as much as I could in the old Transformers animated. That sort of swing to it adds a bit of bounce. It looks like they're doing it again, because after I left for a few years, they seem to get boxier again. Although, yeah, that's a nice one too. So
sorry, I'm trying to see. Do you know what the height of MMC Bruticus is? I keep forgetting what the total height is. I think it was something like.
I'm going to say a number because I might be wrong. I thought it was something like 44 centimeters, but you guys we're talking inches. I don't remember the inches.
Yeah, I measured it on one of my previous live streams, and I don't remember what it was, but it's shorter than the Toy World Zeta ones. I think. Let me look. Let me do the conversion from centimeters real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I remember, around 17 to 18 inches tall for folks on this side of the pond.
Right. Somebody wrote 45 centimeters. Yeah.
Thanks, TM, for also doing the math on that. All right, you guys have an opportunity to talk to one of the coolest designers in the third party and former first party biz. I want to see more questions. Otherwise, he's not going to come back.
One trader from Takara.
Yeah. So that's one thing. I mean, do they see you as a trader? Like you went to the dark side of the gray market? Do they?
I don't stay in touch. I was in Tokyo though 2 years ago, and I had dinner with Ono-san, who was actually one of my closest friends from the team. He's the initial designer of like Mirage and Sideswipe and all those ones. And I told him, I said, yeah, I'm doing some work on third party stuff. Are you okay about it? And he was like, yeah, it's fine. He didn't care. He just kept drinking beer, and it was never mentioned. But I kind of like that MMC let me push the engineering further on this, because I always had a bit of rivalry with the Takara team. How do I say it politely? Like you kind of push each other and try to outdo each other when you're working in a team. And I just like the idea that this stuff must be blowing them away a bit, because I think our engineering especially on these Combaticons, is just like another level above what Takara's doing at the moment.
Yeah,
they don't have the budget, maybe.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, like they work under different constraints, right, than we typically do. So you like the freedom of the third party, allowing you to, like you said, MMC was open to you, trying to experiment with, a combined all-in-one thing.
Combined, just pushing it. Like I'm always work best when there's something that more of a challenge. Like things get boring when you're just doing something the same pattern. You always got to try and make it more interesting, and that all in combined. What do we call it in the end? All
built in is I guess the term they're using right now.
Ultimate challenge, and it was really fun doing it. But yeah, I like the idea that it kind of gets a bit under Takara's skin, because like I said, like I am the swindle of the Transformer world. I like to piss people off, even if they're old friends.
So Zeev asked, do you know if there is going to be a gift set?
I don't know. Is that being done? Jesus.
So answer is we don't know.
Yeah, as in all of them together? Wow. No.
Hey, there's a guy from Spain. Isn't that where you're currently at, Alex?
Yeah, I'm in Madrid right now, learning Spanish.
So Predaking SP, you might have an opportunity. You should try to get a beer with him, treat him to a couple beers, get some secrets out of him.
Yeah, and teach me more Spanish. I just did an intensive 1-week course, 5 days here. To not get my head around the verb conjugations.
So Leo says, do you or are there plans for a G1 toy style of MMC, not Bruticus? There is. So this chest of Bruticus that we have right now, the first kind of versions of the prototype were toy style. They only recently showed off that there's going to be a cartoon colored version, and they're not just some of the molding, but I guess actual colors are going to be changed. The olive on the green is going to be a little bit darker and so forth. So, and according to the MMC boss, they will be released simultaneously. So you'll have your choice of whether you're going to go toy or tune from the get go.
Yeah. So Henry, can I just check? Is this the G1 cartoon version chest, but not painted? Is that what that is?
I think this is still the toy version.
Is it? Okay. That round thing in the front looks a bit different. Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I haven't messed with this one as much as I did with previous ones, but I don't think they said they changed this one yet. But I know that the head on this one is still the toy one. Toy head, I believe. All right, what other questions are we getting here? Oh, here's a good one from Camille. Any particular characters that you want to tackle as a designer, Alex?
I would. Yeah. Well, Takara did a pretty good job on Soundwave. A lot of people don't like that Soundwave. I thought it was pretty good. I'd like to do Soundwave. He was always my favorite character. To do an actual bigger Soundwave that fits our remix line, but then it wouldn't really be in scale.
Yeah, it'd be huge.
Yeah. Other than that, no, I think I've pretty much I would have liked to have done a Hound, but we always knew that Takara were going to come out with a Hound, and they did in the end. So, no, I think
one question I have is you kind of spoke about your first work for Ocular Max / MMC being Sphinx, and I was told that you had some work on the classic Sphinx from Takara / Hasbro, and that your goal was to try to even one up yourself. Is that true?
Yeah. So that classic Mirage, that was the second toy. The first toy I ever did was the classic Bumblebee. Then classic Mirage was the second one, and that's where I tried to introduce a few other, like more of that stance where it wasn't straight up and down. If you look from the side, his pelvis is forward, the shoulders are back, and I got a lot of resistance from the team at that point. And that toy didn't even sell very well at the time, but since people have started, it became popular with collectors later on because it has that articulation and that lean. And I did want to do Mirage because I kind of wanted to I don't know, it's not revenge, but I want to sound like a really bad person. I wanted to so Hasui, who I worked with, he never liked my Mirage. He wanted me to do more of a G1 classic Mirage, whereas mine was thinner and leaner and more like a runner. So it was my answer to Hasui saying, you want a G1 Mirage? Well, here it is.
Oh, nice.
And it's sort of a present to Hasui. I wouldn't say it was a one-up on anything, but I only ever designed mostly deluxe size Transformers when I was at Takara. I never did a lot of complex stuff. So Sphinx was the first time I could actually kind of go all out. Although the most complicated one I ever did was the deluxe movie Bumblebee.
So you worked on some of the movie line as well.
Oh yeah, I was the Bumblebee guy for years. I was doing all the Bumblebee toys.
Okay. The Bumblebee guy. So you don't want to tackle Bumblebee again?
I
mean, we see the photos and the early review of the Masterpiece Bumblebee 2.0, and people were hating on that from the get-go with all the back kibble and all the foot kibble.
I think they should have. Wait, correct me if I'm wrong, but did they use an actual? Did they use a more deforme, they call it, beetle, or did they use an actual beetle this time? The second time
They did a chibi version, kind of again to be more accurate with the cartoon.
I did at one point want to do that, and I sort of did that with Cliff Jumper. I took Cliff Jumper, which is based on a Porsche 19.
Oh yeah.
Washed it in, and to me that's Bumblebee as well. I actually designed that with the idea that you'd swap out the panels and put a Bumblebee yellow set on top, but that didn't end up happening. So I feel like I've already done Bumblebee because I couldn't get much closer than that.
So another question is, if you had a choice. Oh, we already did that. So same question.
I'm trying to think what character would do next. There must be something. Well, I'm working on stuff and I can't mention. That's why. Yeah, because I am working on my ultimate characters, but I can't mention them at the moment. You guys will have to wait to find out what they are.
Boo. Let's see. So how do you feel about the sturdiness, stability of the combined mode? If MMC nails these, they will surpass Zeta in terms of super parts forming. Surpass the Zeta super parts forming method. So I know it was your idea to do the only one combined, but we've also seen kind of the newest wave being parts forming, right? So Toy World started it, Zeta, which is I guess a spin-off of Toy World. They're doing that. Even Fans Toys, who is well regarded as by the fandom as probably the best third-party company out there, is doing parts forming for their combiners. So what are your thoughts on that?
Thoughts on that's a different question to this one about the sturdiness, right?
Well, both. Sorry, go ahead. To answer his question first.
Well, you could answer the sturdiness question because I actually haven't held any of these toys in hand to check.
Okay. So that's I think he feels very solid. Like I said, there was a lot of thoughtful engineering that goes into a lot of the different parts. So while Alex was talking and I was talking, I wanted to try to transform this guy into a semblance of combined mode. And like the foot itself has like an I-beam and has a piece, at least for Swindle, that goes in here. This part's tabs in to this part. So it makes that connection rock solid, and the actual knee joint is in this ratcheted joint here. So it all felt very solid. The ankles feel really solid. The only thing that I mentioned previously was about whether they're going to make any other enhancements to this locking mechanism up here, but we don't really know that much about that.
Yeah, I think the knee and the ankles are the key. You can, I think people can forgive if the shoulder is a little bit rickety, but yeah, the knee. So I mean, we take it seriously. I don't know what to say, but in my end, I usually just come up with an idea. But I think almost all my ideas for the combiner ports get changed by the engineer who actually knows better. But Swindle's front bumper bar folding and sliding in, that was part of my initial design. But
so Predaking SP, your fellow Spaniard, says, what is the next combiner you would like to design as an all built-in combiner?
So I'm not allowed to say what I've been working on since, but if this, I'll just say that we have completed another combiner, but I can't say what it is. Probably
okay. All right. Well, there's a hint. All right. So how about we'll switch the question just a little bit. Who is your favorite combiner? Was Bruticus your favorite combiner? Is that why you tackled him first?
Yeah, for sure. I always loved that. I love that episode where Starscream built those guys on that island, and I just love the colors of them. The storyline about them, and about back to that whole the all built-in thing. See, for me, I just feel like I can understand why people do the parts forming because they just end up sitting on a shelf, but I'm more about the actual playing around with the toys and transforming it.
And I think that's one of the fun factors of this set for sure.
Yeah, it's the fun of it. It's the unbelievable factor. I mean,
and once it's all like for me, MP44 comes with more accessories than you'll ever be able to use. But like with combiners, like it's nice to know that, hey, if you want at any point, you can just bring it off the shelf and transform it into any of the 3 modes without having to dig out the box, which I have a whole basement room full of just boxes trying to get to the combiner port or whatever accessory I need to just to mess with it, right? So I think that's the one thing I really enjoy about the all built in. So real question 30, a quick question from 30. I can't actually control this. So you can see on the top right, I'm using a new tool called StreamYard to live stream this because I wanted Alex to be able to talk and answer questions like this. We can highlight comments like that. The downside is I'm using a crappy webcam that I can't control any of the contrast or anything like that. Even when I do live streams on YouTube, I use my iPhone 10, and it doesn't let me do anything aside from doing certain filters, which let me kind of fake contrast. But the that short answer is, unfortunately, no, I can't really do much about the contrast or ISO unless I can figure out a way to use my iPhone on StreamYard, which I haven't yet.
I'm just looking at some of the questions. Sturdiness. Somebody, Scott asked, did the size of the other combiners come into consideration? Do you mean?
I guess I think he's probably saying the other companies, or do you guys just worry about your own scale?
It was hard enough to get them in scale with each other to make, like, the arms not too long, and within the group. I didn't think outside of within the group. So whether they were made 5-10% bigger after my initial models, I don't know. MMC would have gauged what the best size was. I hear people saying that they're too small, but then when they stand there, somebody mentioned that they think they're a little bit on the small side, but they seem so big. Like, I think you just put Sideswipe next to Swindle is tall.
Yeah, he's way taller.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Brawl's going to be bigger again. So Brawl's going to be like, I can't imagine he's going to be like Springer size or something.
And that kind of makes sense, right? He's a tank, so that makes sense. He has more mass in general.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are questioning, like for me, I was questioning the design choices from Menasor from like Fans Toys, because their Carbots for Menasor, their limbs are as big as Seekers, which that's like even bigger than this, right? So it's always going to have some kind of toss up, right, or trade off, right?
Yeah.
Antoine Lewis asked, any plans for MP version of Sandstorm since MMC Solstice did pretty well?
No, not yet. But I'll bring that up. That's not a bad idea.
So hey guys, I just picked up on something. He won't tell you. Well, he won't confirm if you are on the mark about something he's working on. But it seems like he has no problem saying no to things that he's not working on. So you can just ask him a bunch of different characters one at a time, and then you can probably just narrow it down by process of elimination.
Yeah, no, that's a good cue for me to leave so that I don't get.
Oh yeah, and Alex did only have about 45 minutes, so we're just reaching to the end of that. Let's just take one last question if we can, Alex, and then we'll let you go. And we can actually keep going on the live stream. I have no problem doing that for the rest of you guys. But Alex was gracious enough to give us 45 minutes. So let's see.
Me, everyone. I do check the forums, and it really makes me happy when I see people appreciating the work that we do. Like, and I can say this: we put in a lot of work on these. Like, I've put in more work. I know the other guys did on these than I've done on any other design.
Yeah, and you said 13 revisions for just Fraudo, Swindle himself. So that's a lot of revisions.
Yeah,
character. He said your record-setting number of redesigns.
Yeah, like now it's gonna. If I take long on something, they ask, is it going to be another Swindle? Swindle's like the language we use now for the hard one.
All right, so let's see. One last question: is it possible to make treads for Brawl that looks like it's working. I don't know if you can share that. I don't think the render showed working tread designs.
I would, yeah, I don't know. I would have loved to have done working treads on Brawl, and I thought I spent a few days trying to see if that was possible. Actually, came up with an idea for one that's tread that breaks apart, but then can reattach. The sculpt is up to the sculpt. I don't know how far along Brawl is, but if it's in the tooling stage, whatever they came up with in the end is what it is at this stage. Combine it with
actually, I'm gonna lie. There's one question that I think was good, and I think we talked about it. But what was the biggest challenge to design a combiner all built in?
Yeah, that the wrist splitting apart and reform and was the big challenge, but a real revelation when I realized that you could actually just have two tracks. And like I said, Swindle was first. So Swindle was the first one I did before Vortex. So that ankle tilt was first, and then it just made sense to try it again with the hand. And I want to use that more in the future. Yeah, to realize that you don't have to swivel it all the way around. Actually, you don't need to, because no human wrist goes all the way around. And that because I know that the fans wouldn't accept a stiff wrist that doesn't swivel. So,
all right. Well, Alex, thanks again so much for your time. Again, somebody asked your code name. Your code name that you get credit for on the different boxes is AK, so Ocular Max and stuff like that.
The secret's out now. That was initially because I didn't want to bring too much attention to the fact that I'm ex-Takara. So.
But they didn't care, so now you don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. All right. Well, then we all know him as Alex. Everyone, thank you for taking the time to come. We're going to keep going, but we're going to let Alex go. And hopefully, Alex, this was fun for you and something that you might want to consider doing again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks. Have a good night, everyone.
All right. Thanks, Alex.
All right.
So, again, we can keep going for a little bit longer. But if you guys have any questions, since I was just doing the transformations while he was answering questions, I didn't really talk about some of the cool features or hidden tricks that they have in here. Some of the cool things that they have are like a double jointed heel piece here, which allows it to form the different types. So it's just on a small double hinge, which is really clever. A couple of other things that the Ocular Max team wanted me to mention is some of these like kind of hollow pieces that you see here. They're actually being engineered so that they can be filled in, so that they won't look as hollow. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I guess some people wanted to be perfectionists on their side, so they are filling that in. This is again a sample. Some other things to note is that they're really very kind of clever in how certain things lock in. So like these little tabs back here lock the upper part of the leg together, but it also helps in transformation. So when you untab this, you can keep this locked in, which will help you collapse part of the leg, and then you pull it out and slide this all the way in to get it all sunken down, and then this tab at the bottom is what locks the bottom part in place. So there's a lot of just really clever engineering, again, whether that's from Alex or Makoto or the engineer. They've clearly put a lot of thought into that. So let's see, what other questions that we have? Does Takara outsource third-party designers? Oh, so that would have been a good question for Alex, who jumped off the line. So we'll try to save that one. To remember to come back to the next one, 30, and maybe Alex will be able to answer that. Michael says, can anyone besides TM get his questions answered? Oh, sorry, Michael, did I miss yours? Type yours again. I'll make sure to answer that one. I think I saw yours. Let's see. So is placing a Decepticon sticker on this guy going to be upside down in one of the modes? I don't know. I don't remember where his Decepticon symbol is supposed to be, Michael. So if you can kind of give me an idea of where it's supposed to go, it might be. I can kind of possibly tell you where his Decepticon symbol is going to look like. But I did go through all three modes through this review, so you can look at it later, and hopefully that will answer your own question. Any word on the release date? This guy's supposed to be coming out soon. I think they actually had him originally slated for September, and this is the sample I had from TFCon Toronto in July. And if I got this finalized as out of package, I'd be very happy with it. Again, just some minor things that they said they're filling in, but this feels like a final release. Let's see what other questions we have. Trailbreaker or Mirage? Yeah, sure. I can do with Mirage. I think. Let me see which one is easier for me to grab. Okay, let me grab the Sphinx. You guys go ahead. Oh, good one. Sorry, go ahead, good one. Oh, no, I got you. I got you. So this is your question. So let me go ahead and get Mirage real quick. Here you go. Sorry for the radio silence. It's just that my collection is displayed in a way that they're all kind of lined up in front of each other. So here you go. Like we were talking about, the size in robot mode is a little bit bigger than other carbots, but obviously not as big as like Seekers. So I might be able to do that very quickly. I would have to transform him back into leg mode though, which will take a little while. So while I do that, you guys can just ogle at him in the background. And where is Vortex? Vortex in the background. The way he combines, as I showed in my last live stream of these two, it just kind of slots in like this. And he might not be fully correctly transformed because I was doing it very quickly while we were answering questions. So I'll try to get some more questions. I still function, you're late. Yeah, Alex already left. AK, the designer, already left. This will be live afterwards, so don't worry about that. You'll be able to go ahead and check out what he talked about throughout the whole part. He gave us a lot of cool insights into the design process, was kind enough to answer a lot of questions. And hopefully he'll be back at some point. And again, sorry about the lighting, folks. I can't really control that. What do we have here? Do you think this is the toy version? So we talked about it before. They will. Do you mean specifically a Fraudo? I don't know anything about Fraudo in particular, but I know Onslaught will have both a toy and tomb version that is released simultaneously. I do not have Blastoff in my possession, unfortunately. They didn't have as many samples of him, so sadly, I did not get to steal one of those for my playtime. I'm sure there'll probably be one at TFCon DC, which is next week and just down the street from me, about 20 minutes from where I live, and I'll definitely be there, and I'll try to grab one of those. And if possible, if they let me, I'll try to do a preview of that. So let's see. I'm trying to remember how to combine this guy from robot mode. All right, so let's go ahead and work on this transformation. It doesn't look like there's any other questions that I missed, at least that I see right now. So going into combine mode, you can actually make him a little bit shorter if you want by not extending it, but you do get limited or no ankle tilt once you do that. But it does look more like a single solid boot. And again, depending on your collection, maybe you have a collection of the smaller, older style combiners from third party. So you might want to do that. But if you want to do it properly, his official transformation, you go ahead and slide these panels out. These remind me of MP1/MP4's fists. Remember how they slid out? That's just like that. And Alex did just tell me that was the figure that got him into transforming robots as a kind of quote unquote career or something like that. So that was a cool story he shared with me early on. How does this figure scale with the X-Transbot Stunticons? So they're, I believe, the same height as Carbots, and I just showed you the Carbots, so you should be able to kind of extrapolate that this guy's a bit taller. I could have shown that off, but now we're already kind of going into kind combined mode again, so we're not going to go back into robot mode during the rest of this stream, that's for sure. Upon holding that spindle limb, do you feel that the thing holds its... Oh yeah, it holds its weight very, very well. So especially as an individual bot, as in combined mode, I've kind of extolled the kind of really great design that they have. This is one of the cool things that they have here too. So this whole chest panel is on a double hinge that you extend out, and then you rotate it around to get it into the other two modes. So you only need this this way for this mode. Let's see, I forget, does this go out this way? Oh, I gotta extend this. So there's an extending joint here. Rotate the head, get this to come out like that. Now this will come back into place up here. Flip the wheels out and flip the arms in. And it's also interesting. I don't know why. So there's a couple of things that they have here that I don't understand why they have it. You can actually rotate the arms here like this and tab them in as well on this side. And they have a set of tabs and ports that are for that. I don't know why you would need that though. And I haven't figured out why they designed that way. I should have asked Alex when I had the chance, but this was a live stream for you folks to be able to ask your questions, not so much for me. So didn't have that much opportunity to ask my questions, I don't think. All right, so then this has to rotate at the waist. And then these pieces slide in. You can see there's a little tab here that has a little groove in the hips that slide in. I should have taken the opportunity to show off the articulation, but oh well, it's too late. We're already into leg mode. So, all right, now that all this stuff is in place, we can go ahead and unlock this piece, slide it down, and lock it back into place. So we're basically in leg mode now. The only thing we have to do is bring this panel down, flip out these little gray tabs, and what they're used for is to tab in here. Tab this down here. And you have to rotate, bring this up, rotate this around, and pull this down. And how this combines, and I forget if he's the left or right foot, so forgive me. I feel like he might be the left foot. No, I feel like he might be the right foot, but just for balance, we'll just go for left. Go like that. And this tabs in here. This will lock back down. And here he is, sorry. That's what he looks like at a very upward angle, so I apologize for that. And again, just for scale, since I do have this guy within arm's reach, here's MP10. All right, let's see. The quality of the plastic's good, nothing crazy. I have the Jinbao, the plastic. Is the plastic like backdraft? I don't remember what backdraft plastic is like, to be honest. Hey, Sebastian, thanks for joining, even if you were late. All right. So this is how he looks all combined. Here he is from the side. And the back. And again, some of this might not be fully correctly transformed because I'm just going off what my best guess is. So hopefully this is close enough. There's some stuff up here that I'm still not sure about. Like I think one of these tabs are supposed to, like, I feel like this might come down and tab in somewhere to keep the hips from, I forget. I remember at a local meetup, there was something that we figured out that keeps the hips from like from bending a certain way for combined mode. So if there's Antoine says any diecast parts, there are no diecast parts that I'm aware of. Neither in kind of the exterior pieces or any of the interior pieces that I have messed with that I can at least tell. All right, so I think that's where we'll end the live stream. I actually had to take a break from doing aeration and planting of seeds in my yard, redoing all that to stop. Oh, knee articulation. So let's do that since we have him here. So knee works like that, 90-degree knee bend. And even in the sample, the knee holds up pretty well. Nice and ratcheted. Ooh, sorry about that. Yeah, see, that was one of the things that I've talked about even in the review, the live stream earlier, is that I'm wondering what they're going to do to help this latch kind of stay down. Even if they added just a couple of tabs on the rails to help it secure into place, I think that would go a long way. And I said before, that's the only area that I think I have any kind of questions about or like concerns about. And again, as Alex said, their team, a number of different team members work on different aspects, especially when it comes to combiner. So maybe the engineer will add some stuff in that final design phase that will help keep this guy from falling down like this, obviously, since he doesn't have a leg. The only one that I haven't messed with at all is Brawl. They didn't have him shown at any point. I did mess with Blastoff. I remember him being very intuitive as well, and that's one of the things I've kind of talked about as a whole with this set, is that all of them are clever and cool, but they're not so frustrating that you're like, I don't know how to transform him. I gave MP Collector, a local of mine, an opportunity to look at this at a local meetup, and he was able to transform it into all three modes without any instructions or any direction from me. So I think that says a lot about this design. Let's see. How are the hip ratchets? The hip ratchets. Here, let me just take that off. So they could definitely be better. But again, this is a sample, so I'm not really that worried about that at this time. He does also have lateral one, but I feel like there's something that, again, I don't remember, but I feel like there's some aspect here that's supposed to lock some part of this in place, the hips, but I don't remember. So again, I'm not really sure about some of the combining parts. He does have an ab crunch, so lying down, he can actually get into some yoga poses. Is Onslaught next after Swindle? I think Blastoff is next after Swindle, but I'm not really sure. Anton Lewis said right foot. Yeah, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to switch it midway through. JH, sorry if I missed your questions. I'm jumping back and forth between my review area and my actual screen, my computer, which has all the questions. So if I'm missing your questions, it's not because I'm ignoring you, I swear. JH says, I came in late. How does he scale with Zeta version? So he's about 17 to 18 inches tall. And I think the Zeta ones and Toy World ones are around 21. If I'm not mistaken, something like 21 inches tall. So let's see. Scott says nobody cares about Zeta. Is it possible to remove the fake wheels on Fraudo? Yeah, you can. I think you can remove the hard rubber. Yeah, it's a separate piece here, so it's not plastic. It's like some kind of hard rubber or plastic that you should be able to pull off. I don't know if you can actually just pull off the wheel though. It is screwed in. At least this one is. So if you wanted to, I guess you can unscrew that if that's your thing. What other questions do we have? He's about as tall as Hasbro Predaking. Okay. Leo said, is it possible to remove the fake wheels on Fraudo? And then he asked about No, I meant the ones on his shoulder. Oh, in bot mode? No, they're molded in, I believe. Let's see. All right, so I think that's about it. So I think I answered most questions. I do, like I said, need to go and finish taking care of my yard work, adult problems. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the designer series. I really enjoyed these live streams with the designers. They are very, very informative, and it gives you an opportunity to really understand how some of the processes work and really kind of appreciate all the hard work that goes into not just a single figure, but a series of figures like this. Again, I'm hoping to have Alex and maybe Makoto join again in the future. And who knows, if there's a designer that you want to be brought on at some point, let me know. I've had 598 in the past. I've had what's it called, Chugo King, who's also the box art designer. He also did some sculpting, I believe, on Ocular Max's Cliff Jumper. So if you guys have somebody who you want on the stream, let me know in the comment section, and I'll see what I can do. All right, that's all for today, everyone. If you missed it, this will be going live shortly after it gets rendered. So go ahead and check it out and leave a like. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.